Your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Friday, 19th January 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The government will not introduce a state of emergency in response to crime at this country. This from Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who says such a move could set back economic recovery made coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Rowley expressed confidence in the security services in terms of ensuring law and order. He said the aim is to get to the root cause of crime. He made the remarks at the weekly post-cabinet news briefing yesterday, Thursday. And Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has defended Commissioner of Police Earl Herwood Christopher against criticisms by retired senior superintendent in the Central Division, Johnny Abraham. He slammed Abraham's recent statements at the UNC's anti-crime talks in St. Joseph. Dr. Rowley made the statement and said that if he were Abraham, I would shut my mouth. Government is set to allocate $100 million for a crime-fighting initiative aimed at impoverished communities. Members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force will spearhead the drive in the communities, where it is hoped that youth will be guided away from criminal elements. The initiative announced by Dr. Rowley during a People's National Movement meeting in San Juan last night. The Prime Minister said the government will do what it must to address crime in the country, including special initiatives in some communities, which he described as nurseries for criminal conduct. He said the money will be used and made available to the TTDF to hire reserve and retired officers, as well as recruits to go into communities to fight criminal elements. The Prime Minister said, quote, "In these communities, you will see named in the very near future. I will instruct the Minister of Finance to identify immediately $100 million to go inside those communities to do what is not being done." The Prime Minister said because criminals in there have taken control of those streets, those houses, and they're making it difficult for government services to go there and give some people the opportunities for a decent life. The Prime Minister admitted that Trinidad and Tobago has a huge crime problem, and it was the government's job to ensure the security service personnel are well-resourced, well-behaved, and follow policies that align with the laws of the land. The full circumstances surrounding the death of PC Harinarine is being investigated, and the clear motive is still yet unknown. However, based on information available to the TTPS, there is nothing to indicate the incident is linked to PC Harinarine's role as a police officer. He was last attached to the traffic branch and was fatally shot while standing next to his vehicle, which was parked along Bassey Street, Spring Village in Valsayn, in the company of an unidentified woman at approximately 9:15 p.m. on Wednesday. Preliminary information indicates 3 armed assailants approached the vehicle and opened fire. PC Harinarine returned fire. However, he sustained fatal injuries as the assailants shot him. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Social and Welfare Association is offering a reward of $20,000 for information that can lead to the arrest of person or persons responsible for the killing of PC Ravindra Harinarine. Today, the report into the Paria diving tragedy will be laid into Parliament by the Energy Minister. Last year, February, 4 divers died while inside a Paria Trading Fuel Company pipeline at berth number 6 in the Pointe-a-Pierre Harbor. One diver, Christopher Boudram, survived the ordeal. Jerome Lynch, King's Counsel, served as chairman for the Commission of Inquiry into the tragedy. Cabinet supports the creation of a 7-member advisory committee, which will get input from the public, stakeholders, and organizations on constitutional reform. The committee will make recommendations to the Cabinet within 3 months of its appointment for the promotion and convening of a National Constitutional Conference and consultation in June of 2024. 2 fire officers were injured while on duty Thursday and continue to receive medical treatment at the Port-of-Spain General Hospital. They suffered injuries when the skylift reportedly malfunctioned and the boom which resulted in the equipment losing stability while operating the basket. They were at the time responding to and fighting a fire at approximately 12:19 a.m. on Observatory Street in Benmont. To receive initial medical care, it was revealed one officer sustained a fractured leg while the other experienced chest injuries. On Thursday, Trinidad and Tobago confirmed its first COVID-19 case belonging to the JN.1 subvariant category from the Caribbean Health Agency. The subvariant is a descendant of the Omicron virus. At this time, the Ministry of Health notes there's no evidence to suggest the JN1 subvariant causes more severe illness. However, evidence suggests it may be more easily spread from person to person than its predecessor. Persons are being encouraged to weigh risks to themselves, their families, and their communities, and take the necessary precautions to safeguard life and health. Members of the public are being encouraged to practice good hygiene with the aim of reducing the spread of viruses, including influenza and COVID-19. In regional news, West Indies cricket announced on Thursday the West Indies women's quartet, Anisa Mohammed, Shakira Selman, Knight twins Kissia and Kishona, have confirmed their international retirement. The quartet were members of the West Indies women's team for the past decades and helped to win the 2016 ICC Women's T20 Cricket World Cup in India. Cricket West Indies have since praised the women for their dedication, skill, sportsmanship, and their contribution to the sport. And finally, a severe drought that began last year has forced authorities to slash ship crossings by 36% in the Panama Canal, one of the world's most important trade and transportation routes. The new cuts announced this week by authorities in Panama are set to deal with an even greater economic blow than previously expected. Canal administrators now estimate that dipping water levels could cost them between $500 and $700 million in 2024, compared to previous estimates of $200 million. And that is major news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Of January 2024. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. On the Power Breakfast Show this morning, full casting. We just heard from Paul Richards with our news brief. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen, Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Wayne and Shane in the background. My name is Steve Khan. All right, quickly, let's get into WT, straight into it this morning. San Fernando, start out there first, because down there, you know what? They got plenty tempo. Rivulet Road heading towards Coover, California. Point Lisas, it's beginning to build. Chase Village towards Sugarguanas, got some traffic. Of course, that Sugarguanas main road is beginning to build. Charlieville towards the interchange, traffic. Leaving Grundy towards the stretch, you also got some volume and a little bit of traffic. Santa Rosa, Piarco Lights. Trinity City towards Orange Grove, not too bad. From Orange Grove towards Huey is where you're going to pick up your traffic. The interchange going to El Scoro and Aranguez, a little thing. And just after Swim Call is where you'll pick up your traffic heading into the capital city. Of course, out of Mara Valley, beginning to build. Nothing out of Diego Martin thus far. All right, that's your T's. Let's get into the W's now. 24 degrees at Piarco International Airport. 25 at Crown Point in Tobago, where the Met office is saying our weather is going to be like for today. Variably cloudy and breezy with a few morning showers. There's a 20%, which is low chance of the isolated heavy shower favoring Tobago. Beefy Smith, this evening will be mostly fair despite a few showers. All right, maximum forecast temperature for both islands today would be 31 degrees. All right, let's see who sent us hellos this morning. Good morning to Patos. Good morning to Michael. Good morning to Dan Raj. Good morning, GNC Auto Security. Good morning. All that on WhatsApp. Thank you so much. At 318-1021. On Facebook, on YouTube. We've got Oliver Man Warren, Wayne B. in Covington, Georgia, DJ Ray out in Tampa, Wendy and James, Gloria Gray. Gloria, I haven't heard from you in a long time. Good morning to you. Marcia Rock out in Florida, Carol Guevara, CJ in New York. Good morning. Carol Joseph, Rena Boodoo Jennings, Glenda Butcher. Yep, Wendy and James' little sister is freezing in New Jersey. Yeah, I know. Brenda Isaac, Trinidad Margot, Randy Kelly, good morning. Hey, hey. Showin Kerr, Mo Gaines out in Aruka, Marcia Celia, Maria Syria, sorry, romantic, passionate lover, good morning to you from Ireland. Oh, is that where you're from? From Ireland. Okay. Carl M. Jack, good morning to you as well. As you said, Ireland, and it's freezing in New Jersey. It's -8 in Toronto. Ugh. Miami 21, Orlando 14, New York flurries -1, Atlanta 6 degrees, London -2, holy moly, Tampa 14, Washington D.C. snow and -1. Ouch. Ooh, you guys getting some serious snow. All right. Good morning to you, gentlemen. What's shaking?
Morning, Paul. Morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard. And good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and all our international correspondents. I call them correspondents. Good morning, all.
Good morning. I'm so glad it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Very
Check it. Sing that song whole day.
week. I'm exhausted this week. So
Yeah.
good morning, everyone.
Yeah, this week was a
lot.
A lot to process, because I want to give you two police stories, but I want to wait when Richard comes on, because he was actually with me when one of the incidents happened.
Oh, so
really? I'll give you. I don't know how I neglected to do it on Wednesday, but I guess on Wednesday we were talking about the mix and mingle and so many other things that it slipped me. But it's two episodes that kind of crystallizes TTPS right now. You understand? And both happened with me on Tuesday. And Richard was with me for the second one.
Better be careful, somebody to shut your mouth. You know.
That's all right. Because
when you're talking about police these days, there's be told to shut your mouth. You know.
My ear's still ringing from last night. Oh my God.
Be careful, you know.
I want to say something, but I'm not going
shut
to.
Your mouth.
My ear's still ringing.
Don't talk about Elaine. Don't talk about Elaine. Shut your mouth.
No, I ain't talking about the thing. She is a victim of what's going on with the TTPS too, unfortunately. But I told you all about that Johnny Abraham presentation. I told you all, you know, and I'm not surprised that the Prime Minister came out swinging at him too, because it was pure politics, and then you basically admitting something on national radio about a problem that we always knew used to happen. You know, come on, that's so ridiculous. But when I tell you about the two incidents, you won't be surprised. You won't really be surprised. And I want to tell people, I want to tell members of the TTPS and members of the general public and the people in general, that Wendell Stephen, I get in a lot of trouble for things that I say, because I speak the truth, okay? And I speak fearlessly. So a lot of people don't always appreciate what I say. But I work very hard for what I've had. I work very hard for what I've achieved thus far. Hard and honest for what I've achieved thus far. So when people come up with these jealous responses sometimes to where I live, to what I drive, to what I do, I have a problem with that. And when I'm stereotyped, when I'm stereotyped, who I'm with too, when I'm stereotyped by some people, you understand? By some people, I have a real problem with that, because of how hard I've worked and still work for what I have and for where I am. Okay, I do 4 jobs for a living. I've done it for the last 30 years. Okay, so I have a real problem with that. And two people I have a problem with: selfish people and ungrateful people. I've always said that.
Well, you have some serious time to waste
as much as you could. Give and help people as much as you could. And always be thankful to the people who gave and help you. Always. And your life would be so much easier just by practicing those two things. You understand?
I have learned a long time ago If you stop to pay a lot of attention to detractors, you will not ever achieve your full potential. If I had listened to anybody who said, don't do this, you can't achieve this, that is beyond your reach, I'll be sitting behind a board in a radio station many, many moons ago and didn't try anything new.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, But to those who want to do that, but I just think there's so much money one can contribute to any country.
Well, I might have been in a white padded room. That's where I might have ended up if I had taken on people and the nonsense, including that person who messaged in there. That person probably deserved to be in a white padded room.
Well, the thing about it is that, unfortunately, and we had a guest on this week who was making all sorts of allegations about me. You all know about it, right? In this country, everything has become so politicized along party lines that where I am concerned, 1 week I'm X, next week I'm Y. I would only get concerned if I stay on, I'm perceived to be staying on one side for too long, because that is the nature of the beast. And unfortunately, there are some people in the country who can look at issues in a dispassionate manner and say, well, X is right or X is wrong, no matter where the political line falls. But there's some people who will not. There are people who call, I know exactly how they're going to answer the poll every day.
That's true.
On both sides.
That's true.
I know exactly how they're going to answer the poll, and it has never, actually, no, it surprised me on 2 occasions.
Yes. I think I pointed it out too. When the person
I know
went
exactly how specific people are going to answer the poll, because no matter what the issue is, they will align behind X or Y or red or yellow.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with people's decisions to align behind a political entity. My issue is when you cannot see the forest for the trees, and something that is blatantly wrong or blatantly or extremely constructive, you cannot see it because you're towing a party line.
Yeah. Yep. Sadly. But again, as I say, everybody entitled to the opinion along the political line.
And as I said, I have absolutely no problem with people aligning with a political party. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's part of our social construct, our political construct in the country. It served us okay for 60 plus years. It served us okay. I wouldn't say well. There's sometimes we benefited from it, but a lot of times it is like now, it is dragging us through the mud.
Oh gosh.
But we're not the only country going through that. The US is going through it. The UK is going through it. Almost every democratic country I know has a phase where the issue is not as preeminent as political allegiance. So.
All right. So I'm gonna give the first story. I'm hoping Richard come in for the second one, because we're gonna. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose the issues that because it comes in line with all the problems I think that the TTPS has. Right. This is my opinion. Right. So everybody know there was an incident at my place where some guys came in. A guy came in and stole a fan. 2 fans, right? One of which was a very expensive industrial fan, right? They were caught on camera, and he was the other person who came and picked him up to get the second fan was also caught on camera. So I did the necessary. I contacted my friends, the people who I have at licensing office. I got the name and address and so on of the person with the car and whatnot. And I reported this to city police, right? I hadn't as yet gone to the St. James police station. But I sent the information on to the city police, who went to the address that they got, right? And the man was no longer living there. However, I had to go to make an official report also. So I went to the St. James police station. Pleasant greeting at the front desk and so on. No problem. They escorted me. The guy started to take the information. A very young police officer. He looked almost brand new. PC Ramlocha. So he took the information down, and then another officer came out, a senior officer, clearly from the CID, plainclothes, female officer, Miss Cox Bramble, I think she introduced herself as. And she said, well, you know, I want you need to come back and make a report. I said, well, I hear already, you know. You know what I mean? She said, you want to do it now? I said, yeah, sure. She said, okay, come with me. And she escorts me to her office down in the back and goes on the computer and starts to do up the report and so on, right? Before that, the officer, Mr. Ramlochan, had already given me a receipt for the report that I had made, right? That he took. But apparently I have to make another report, official report with a statement. I have to do a statement where I sign it. So she proceeds to do up the statement and whatnot. So she's taking the same information that I would have given prior. What happened? This is what happened, blah, 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 blah. She said, and another officer was there, Mr. Wilson, and they were asking me certain questions and I'm answering them. I said, listen, all this information, I already have it, you know. I say I already, because of the position that I held, I contacted city police and they were also very helpful to me in following up on the information that I got. She said, okay, but you know, we had to still do this, right? So we still have to go and check with licensing office to get the certified copy for the information that I already had. We still have to come to your place and get the footage. I say, well, why? I say, the footage is on my phone. So one officer gave me his number and I sent it to his phone, right? But he said they still have to send somebody to my place. Now, this was Tuesday, right? Up to today. Today is Friday. I don't know if they'll send somebody. Or up to now, nobody can come. So in other words, the actual investigation into the funds that were stolen by me has gotten nowhere outside of a report because of police procedure. And apparently, they have no choice but to follow this procedure to the letter.
But Wendell, can I just interject for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
They have to, because you're making an allegation, and I'm not doubting you, but there's something called chain of custody of evidence. That, let's just say you were a nefarious person, you could have edited the video. They have to go through a particular process. Otherwise, the case may be compromised. Whether you think they should take it from your phone or is all right. But
Paul,
they
I'm
have
not
to
arguing
come.
that.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that. I'm telling you, because of this process that the TTPS they have no choice but to go through, is why a lot of people don't bother. And is why a lot of incidents they're never resolved.
I don't understand your contention. The process is the process. The process has to be followed.
Paul, something has to be done about it.
Why? That is the law all over the world, chain of custody of evidence. Because you feel you're giving them evidence and you in your mind, your evidence is valid and it hasn't been tampered with. Doesn't mean that there's no process to be followed.
I don't know why you're arguing with me, you know. I am telling you that I understand that is the process. And the process is, in other words, why a lot of people don't bother. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you that is why a lot of people don't bother, because they have to do this process. And I'm not arguing with it, but this process could easily have taken all in the same day. Instead, at first I was invited when you have time to come back. I say, well, I'm here now. So in other words, the urgency of even taking our information wasn't there. Okay? It wasn't there from the outset. But I insisted that I can do it now. I have the time now. It was done. But guess what? Nothing has happened since.
What I agree with you with is the fact that they need to expedite the processes and make them more efficient. That I fully agree with. Because that's the point I'm making. A process like that should not take 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because then you lose momentum, you lose evidence, you lose the person who is the victim of the crime loses confidence in the system and all of that. So that I fully agree with, but the process has to be.
So that's the point I'm making, and Richard would have made that point before when, remember, there was a bicycle stolen by him. You understand? That these processes take too
Let
long.
me tell you. Let me tell you what I want to add to that.
Mhm.
They seem to make a decision on some situations. That ain't no big deal. It's only a fan. It's only a bicycle. What we can reserve for that for? When they should be processing all reports of crime.
So you're thinking along my lines now, and that's exactly
that
where
is what
I was
happens.
going.
And as a matter of fact, it goes a bit further.
Mhm.
If there are certain categories of people who are even murdered,
Mhm.
they say, he look for that.
They may, sadly,
They may, or
sadly.
he's a reprobate, or
Mhm.
they have a perception of the person or the group of people, and they have business to that. You look for that. In some instances,
Yeah.
it goes as far as reports of domestic violence. That has been a wife thing. Me getting
Yeah.
involved in that.
So we come back to the point I was making as to why the TTPS, in some cases, are in the problems that they're experiencing. Because the officers were always pleasant to me. They were always accommodating. These three officers, Miss PC Ramlo Chan, Woman Corporal Cox Bramble, and I think is a Constable Wilson. They were all very friendly and very professional because they don't know me from Adam. You understand? And they, as a matter of fact, one of them said, "Well, we see that footage circulating, because apparently this footage was also circulating widely." You understand? So I'm saying that their processes, whilst necessary, are too lengthy. It is very tedious. And it is, to me,
The process is not lengthy and tedious, Wendell. The people who are executing it are not doing it with any level of enthusiasm, or there's no timeline. There's no measurement quotient. There's no, okay, in the US, I know in several jurisdictions around the world, they do performance measurement metrics. They will say, we are measuring how long it takes to respond to a call, an emergency call. We're saying we are measuring how long it takes to process a robbery case, a home invasion, how long it takes to process a murder and get the information to the DPP or the relevant office. They measure the time so that they know if they're improving or not. Here, it is so bad that I didn't feel they measure that.
Yeah.
And that is
You
the
ever watch the
problem.
picture?
There doesn't seem to be an urgency at performance measurement and holding those accountable for improvement of those performance metrics.
Yeah. You ever watch the picture 48 hours? Yeah. And so that to me should always be the aim of every single crime that is committed. Because let me tell you something. The crime, they might have stolen a fan, but what I subsequently found out, because the TTPS don't know that yet, but they will find it out eventually, that somebody is driving around with a false number plate, with a car marked H when it's actually registered as a P. And I further found out that the person has another car also registered as H, and it is a P. So all that information I get on my own accord, using the resources that I have available to me, right? So it will
That is why you can go to all these places and get a license plate.
All of that.
All that needs to stop,
All
that needs to stop. You cannot go by Tom, Dick, and Harry and make a number plate, and anybody can put it in their car. All that needs to stop because of fashion for your vehicle.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. We've spoken about this for years.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened.
Yep.
In fact, more companies are opening to look at these number plates. They're good. Where's the RFID number plates that they spoke about?
All of those things, we have a lot of low-hanging fruits, in my humble opinion, that we could do to help the TTPS and help crime fighting. Because the TTPS needs help. They have a lot of young officers willing, some of them, you understand? They have a lot of young officers who are rogues to it, and that's my second story. But as I say, my second story happened entirely in the presence of Richard Ragoobarsingh. So I'm going to talk about that when he comes on here, because he'll be able to corroborate what I'm saying as accurate. And he begged me here and Wendell, oh God, don't provoke them now. I said, Richard, I can't have a device like I have in my car, which is a dash cam, and not film everything that's taking place. Because my camera, you could come up on the side of my glass and my camera will turn to face you. It is facing in the front all the time. The camera I have will turn to face you. So nobody can approach me in my vehicle without them being recorded. Thank God for that technology. You understand? But as I said, I will give it a second story then. Who's celebrating birthdays today? Natasha De Freitas, Makeda Thomas. I think she's our international, she's at the UN. Ruthven Walker, my cousin who lives abroad. Susan Lelam, Reshma Sipasad. They're all celebrating birthdays today. Alexander Seals also celebrates a birthday today. And Wendell Eversley. I don't know why people always call me Wendell Eversley too, you know. People actually call me Wendell Eversley. I don't know why. But I'm not Wendell Eversley. All right? But happy birthday, Wendell Eversley. He's a regular on Facebook, and well, he's the one who marches for the attempted coup. Every year he does a march from the east to the west. Mm-hmm. So happy birthday, Wendell. All right? And anyone else celebrating birthdays over the weekend?
The Police Social and Welfare Association, the organization that represents police officers, is offering a $20,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest of person or persons responsible for killing PC Ravindra Harinarayan. It's a really strange story, where the story unfolds that PC Harinarayan was in the company of a woman who was still to be identified. And some assailants pulled up in a car and shot at him. He came out and shot back, and he was fatally shot. This woman left the car and went into another car immediately upon the shot starting to be fired. And she's not been seen or heard from since. And police have said that they don't think it's related to him being an officer, but the initial reports indicated that as the shot started to fire, she get out of his car and fly to another car. Things that make you...
It might be a domestic situation gone wrong then.
I don't know. I don't know that it's that. I don't know that
the report came that it was like they were in a car and fellas came to rob them.
I don't know about rob them. Why, if they came to rob them, why would she leave his car and immediately fly to another car?
Sure, I don't know.
And into another car? That sounds like normal intuitive thinking to you?
Well, I didn't see that. The video that I saw, I didn't see her running to another car. I see her running down the street.
That's what the initial reports. It's very and then if that's the case, why has she not turned up to the police station and said, I was the woman in the car and I was scared for my life and I ran and I want protection?
Okay. Well, it's strange that she hasn't turned up.
Exactly.
The side of the story.
Exactly. So it's very, very odd.
Yeah. But apparently he was one of the because the Prime Minister mentioned it last night on the platform. Apparently he was one of the officers who drove one of the marked police cars in escort with the Prime Minister.
Really?
Yeah. So he expressed his condolences last night to the family. He found out after that he was one of the officers who drove one of the marked police cars in the escort. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's actually paying for his sister's schooling as well. Yeah.
David Frost, you see how handsome I am? Well, what are you talking about resemble?
You actually have a similar look.
Oh, goodness, you too? Mm-hmm. No, must be the glasses.
Must be the face.
No, it ain't the face.
You do look younger, though, but you all look like you should be family related.
It ain't the face. It must be the glasses. And the name. Because people used to say I look like Wendell Constantine, too. I think people just people just link a name and say, you know,
you look nothing like Wendell Constantine.
And they also used to call me Wendell Motley growing up.
Oh boy.
I'm telling you. So I think people just link Wendells together.
Oh boy.
You know? I think they just link Wendells together. Wendell is a rare commodity, you know. It is a German word meaning wanderer. Which is why I like to travel.
Yes. Wanderer, I mean. Wanderer.
Wanderer.
Like somebody
wanderer
who
as in WANDER.
Like somebody who goes astray very easily.
That too, unfortunately. That too. You know.
The report into the Paria diving tragedy relayed in Parliament today by Energy Minister Stuart Young.
Oh, really?
I have to commend Minister Young. He paid a visit to Observatory Street and spoke with the families who lost their homes in the fire. I think that's what, yeah. I saw some pictures.
Because the report last night said up to then they hadn't seen the MP, you know.
No, I saw pictures this morning online in the papers of Minister Young in the ruins talking to people who seem associated with the dwellings that were lost.
All right. So the news report was wrong because the news report
maybe that was the report at that time.
Okay.
Anyway, he will lay this Paria diving thing in Parliament today. And so what next? Millions of dollars.
Civil lawsuits. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go down the same road because the Prime Minister made reference to all this money that they've been paying out from the 7,000 odd people, 8,000 odd people who were arrested during the curfew, the curfew of 2011, the state of emergency of 2011. 7,000 odd were charged, and they've been paying out thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars since then to people who have filed lawsuits against the state. He referenced that last night. So this one is going to go. This one is five families.
4 people died.
But 5 families affected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's probably going to go down that road too. You know, never a dull day in Trinidad and Tobago. Where's Richard? I want to give him a second story. Because this second story have a bit of history. Why I say that is because I had told Richard previously about that incident with that same group of officers. They drive an unmarked pickup on the PBR all the time. And I can't remember the brand of pickup, but the number is TCY 2875, a 4-door pickup, a dark colored pickup. It's not marked. It's not marked. You understand? Who apparently decide that I shouldn't be probably driving the vehicle that I drive. You understand? Or I shouldn't. Well, I don't know what's the problem because I don't know them personally. I don't know them. Maybe they know me, but I don't know them. You understand? But this was the second incident with them, and it resulted in them pulling me over on the South Key in the middle of the road with Richard in tow and leaving me parked up there. Oh, look, Richard. Morning, Richard. And now giving them the story. And now giving them the story.
We're dying to hear this story.
My second police encounter. So one time, a month or maybe a little more than that ago, I went to drop someone out to the top of the bus route for them to get a taxi, right? And when I went out there, I didn't enter the bus route yet. You know, there's a piece of road just at the head, although I was told that is also part of the bus route. So I came there to drop out the person. And this vehicle, an unmarked police vehicle apparently, because they were the uniformed police officers, young guys, pull up alongside me. So I was wondering, because I had already stopped and the person was exiting the vehicle. So they pull alongside me. I said, okay, maybe somebody I know, because I know a lot of police officers. So I wound down the glass. I said, yeah, can I help you? You have a bus route pass? I said, well, I think that's the reason why I would be here, you know? So, and I proceeded to wind back up the glass, and they drove off while harassing the young lady who I was dropping out because it was somebody who came home by me to do something. So I said, but that's strange. But I've seen that vehicle on the bus route all the time. I don't know if they're transit police officers or if they are aligned to a division or state or whatever, right? But anyway, that incident happened, and I found it strange then, and I told Richard about it. I remember telling Richard about that situation, right? Lo and behold, Richard and I are driving down the bus route to go to the Mix and Mingle Tuesday, and the vehicle, we overtook the vehicle, I think, at one point in time, right? And the vehicle started to drive close behind me. I said to Richard, I said, Richard, remember that vehicle I told you about back then? They're driving right up behind me. You understand? So I continued down the bus route. To exit the bus route now, there's a kind of drain. Paul, everybody would know it. There's a kind of drain that is really, they need to fix it, right? So the light was on green when we turned, and naturally I rushed to go through. But you have to slow right down to go right there. And in that space of time, the light started to change. So naturally I proceeded through still, right? Next thing you know, going along South Key, this police vehicle running me down. I said, well, what the hell is this? So I'd say, Richard, these guys and them coming to harass me again, Just so I tell them, I said, these guys and them coming to harass me again. So when we reach the light by South Key now, to turn right up into Independence Square, all of them jump out of the vehicle and come to my vehicle. So I wound down the glass. You didn't see us flashing lights behind you. I say, I didn't think you all were flashing me. They say, you broke the light back. So I say, I don't think I did. I say, but I have a dash cam that could show if I broke the light or not. License and insurance. So I complied. I took out my license and I took out my insurance and I gave it to them. All of them out. This is in the middle of South Key here, guys. Endless people crossing the road. I can imagine how many people take out the phone and film in this situation again. Anyway, that don't bother me. Because I ain't doing, as far as I'm concerned, I ain't doing nothing wrong. I say, Richard, you see these fellas, something is up with them, I think they just, I don't know if they're jealous of my vehicle. I don't know if they're jealous of me. I don't know what is the problem. But this is not normal behavior. So they leave me there, and I'm parked up in South Key now. Richard and I parked up on South Key, whilst they behind with whatever they do. Eventually, he came back, and he said, make a right and pull up us on the Broadway side of the hand. So Richard and I proceed, and we pull up on the Broadway side, and they back there now with my license and insurance for the longest while. I say, Richard, what are these police doing? Why are we just made to sit here for this length of time? Anyway, eventually they come back with a ticket.
And he walked back.
Yeah, he walked back. Eh?
The
They
van
didn't
never
drive.
came.
So,
The van
yeah,
never came.
he walked to us with a ticket in his hand and my documents. And I said, I instructed my camera to turn. Richard say, oh God, Wendell. I instructed my camera to turn and I asked him to smile. You understand? So that was my second episode. I swear I don't know these officers. But they are, let me don't say nothing.
But the one giving the ticket was fairly polite.
It's the same officer from the last time to Richard.
Is that the same one?
Yeah.
He wasn't gruff.
No.
He
wasn't gruff.
He wasn't gruff, but but he was, But we found it strange when we were waiting on Broadway that because you expected them to follow you.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting there, no police van in sight. And we said, well, if they're giving a ticket, at least just come behind and give the ticket if that's what they're doing. But you never saw them. They never turned. No,
I think they did that on purpose.
They never turned. Just the guy walked eventually. You saw him walking up. Well, you saw him. I didn't see him because he goes on your side.
Yeah. I'm sure they did that on purpose. I think they did that also to see if I would drive away, but I can't drive away without my documents. You understand?
Yeah.
Because you tell me to turn and park so, and then you remain behind there where you're out of sight completely.
Yeah, because they never came back into sight.
No. I swear.
Well, do you have papers, Ragoobarsingh?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, I do not. Sorry.
It's 6:46. Let's move to what's happening in the online versions of the three mainly dailies in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's start with the Daily Express. It's Friday, 19th January. Defense Force to get $100 million to fight crime. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Frawley announced that $100 million will be given to the TT Defense Force to what it seems like to hire retired persons and auxiliary persons to go into communities to fight the criminals. Because from what the Prime Minister said last night, the criminal element is even refusing to let service providers into some areas. So he said,
Is the defense force you said? Is the defense force?
Defense Force reserves, and yes, it's going through the Defense Force.
Yes, that's what he said. $100 million.
Yeah.
This is something.
Hire soldiers to undertake special operations in specific communities that seemingly are under siege. The estimate of 2011, they picked up about 8,000 people and put them in jail. That's the response from the government on Mrs. Passal-Bissessa's suggestion for an SOE. Earlier, PC Hanarine not murdered because of his role as a police officer. TNT moves to reform constitution. Dr. Rowley is setting up a committee to report to the cabinet by June 2024 on areas of constitutional reform.
I thought that
Prison officer goes missing, kidnapping unit involved. Ministry launches talk the things. Griffith gone, one of my biggest achievements, says National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines.
Oh, good. Fitzgerald Hines last night. Lord Father, I say, my goodness.
Let's move
You don't
to
have
the
any clips, Paul? You don't have any clips from last night?
Yeah, but I'm lazy this morning.
You're lazy? UNC meeting the other day, you had a set of clips. PNM meeting, you had none? Look, boy.
So let's move to the boy. Okay.
Look, man. Sorry.
Boy.
You know they're teasing you, right?
Wendell, I am not perturbed in the least bit.
Look, man. I'm big man. Look, big man.
I have been called much worse. Let's move to the Guardian of Life now. That is a compliment, actually, from what I've been called. PM blasts retired cop over attack on COP earlier. Shut up, Johnny, says Dr. Rowley. Came out swinging yesterday, as most people expected. 100 million for community crime fighting initiative. Army gets mission to steer youths away from gangs. Hines to Kamla. SOEs don't get to the root of crime. Hines knocks Griffith over free for all in 2021. SOE COVID passes sold for $5,000 each. Rowley dismisses Kamla's call for SOE. And Loquan to leave NGC. Mark Loquan has indicated that he's not offering himself up for reappointment. He started with NGC in 2016, and this will be his last day. So congratulations. I think he's done a pretty good job with NGC. Let's move now to the Newsday. Education Minister, no mask mandate in schools yet. Fire Officers Association claims 9 officers injured in the past 2 weeks. Advisory committee formed to tackle constitutional reform. Maybe that's an Otobas do, Pandy. You don't think?
What's that?
The advisory committee that's to be formed to tackle constitutional reform.
It's probably triggered by that.
Yeah. Hines, COVID passes were sold for $5,000 during the pandemic. Ooh, really? Well, no, you're going to respond. Nurse robbed at gunpoint of car in Faizabad after crash. PM condemning top cop not helping crime. Don't bash Earl, menacing, pointing her finger there. And Dr. Rowley, the press conference yesterday. Education Minister dropouts. Low achievers can be lured by criminals. Clearly, well, fix the dropouts and fix the low achievement. Huh? I added that. 3 held in a rumor for marijuana and stolen phones. So whose responsibility is to fix the low achievement and fix the dropout problem? Which I've raised several times. Huh? Who? You fix yourself? So those are trending stories in your Express, Guardian, and News. Guys, when people make these statements, dropouts and low achievers, yes, they are, but it's the state's responsibility to intervene before they drop out and intervene if they're achieving suboptimally. Isn't it?
I guess so. There's somebody named Bill Anastasia who's messaging. I saw this message another day too, right?
I saw it last week also.
Yeah.
And maybe he's in a different country. Bill, we are in Trinidad and Tobago and we speak English. Maybe we have the Caribbean patois, so it's difficult for you. We apologize for that.
Yeah.
And we speak very quickly.
It's a Greek name, isn't it? It sounds like a Greek name.
Yeah, so maybe he's in the jurisdiction.
Wendell,
that-
what you said that Fitzgerald Hines said last night? I just missed that.
No, Fitzgerald and Paul was reading from the newspapers.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's alleging that in 2021, which is I'm presuming under Gary Griffith's tenure as COP.
It was when the state of emergency was called for the public health crisis, the 6-month
Right.
state
That
of
would have been under Gary Griffith that
yeah.
COVID passes were being sold for $5,000. And to my knowledge, and I could be wrong and I stand to be corrected, that the person who had to sign off on those, or the office that had to sign off on those, were the police.
Yeah, they came directly from the Commissioner of Police.
Right. So I guess that's where the allegation is being pointed.
Yeah.
Of course, the Prime Minister coming out batting for Mrs. Harewood Christopher. I didn't agree with Johnny Abraham's diatribe, but I don't want us to walk away feeling that we can't critique the Commissioner's performance.
Johnny Abraham critiquing the Commissioner is not the problem. Johnny Abraham, and I pointed it out the day, and you had an issue with it, saying that people who come in Central Trinidad, alluding to them not being able to leave. I had a problem with that. I said it then, and I'm going to say it now. That, to me, points to a certain type of policing that should never be right, which is the problem that we still having now, including fellas who are arrested for the kidnapping and rape and so on and falling off a chair. Those things could never be proper under no circumstances. Okay? And I stand by that. I ain't tolerating criminals in the area, and I ain't tolerating criminals in the police service. I'm sorry. Okay?
Yeah. All right. If you're on the highways, there's an accident northbound by the Brian Lara Stadium. Roads are wet down on that side, and there's an accident westbound by Aranguez, which is creating quite a little pileup. All right.
Did you say that there was an accident by the Ragoobarsingh Stadium? Is that what you said?
Brian Lara Stadium.
Oh, Brian Lara.
Yeah.
I want to know in Larry Gomes. Where
Brian Lara Stadium.
But there was an accident out there the other day, Richard.
By Larry Gomes?
All right, so let me give you the results from our poll from yesterday, where we asked you, do you support the UNC's anti-crime town hall meeting talks? That was our poll yesterday. I'll give you results after this.
The journey begins Saturday, 20th January. Chutney Soca Monarchs semifinals. 30 artists battle for a place of the grand final of CSM. The 2024 Chutney Soca Monarchs semifinals. The Rig, Gulfview, La Romaine. Absolutely free to the public. Message 789-3874 or email southexevents@gmail.com. CSM 2024, sponsored by National Carnival Commission, B-Mobile, Harrier Suites, Media Partners, Boom Champions, Lit 102.3, Power 102, IETV, Social Media Partners, Masala Entertainment, and West Indian Chutney Music.
All right, so we asked you yesterday, do you support the UNC's anti-crime town hall meeting talks? Results are in. 67%, 67 said no. All right, quickly, let's get into this morning's poll. We got 5 minutes.
Morning, Chris, too, sir.
Our poll this morning, do you think the additional $100 million investment in the TTDF, that's the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, to help fight crime will make a difference? Of course, the Prime Minister would have said that last night. Did he say that the Kweze in San Juan?
Yes, you may have missed out an important part of that word in certain communities, because it's not just an investment in the TTDF. It's an investment the TTDF will manage, but it's an investment in certain communities where crime and criminality is rampant.
You want the question to be a paragraph?
No, I'm just saying the investment is not in the TTDF. They may have a problem with that wording.
It is being invested through the TTDF, Wendell.
Okay.
I'm confused.
That's not what you're saying.
All right. You'll have successfully confused me.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I'm sure. All right.
Is it that the money is going to the community or to the TTDF?
You see, if he had the clip from last night, he would play it, and we would know what he's talking about. But here are a PNM clip.
All right, we need to get into the poll, gentlemen. We have 3 minutes. Right?
our
Do you
poll
think the
this
additional $100 million investment to the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force to help fight crime will make a difference? Yes or no? Alan Reese says yes. Romantic lover out in Ireland says no. Gregory Bauer says yes.
Yeah. You see that, right?
Yes.
Jaron Joseph. Morning, Jaron says yes. No from Junior. Thank you, Junior.
You know exactly what the poll mean.
I know.
You got to read and spell.
I still want the clips.
Let's see.
You want to empty the clips or you want the clips?
Slick Money Grip says yes. Finbar Collins says yes. CJ in Cold, New York says yes. Michael Robinson says no. Lennon Robert says yes. Carl M. Jack says no. Marcia Rock out in Florida, yes to the poll. Cascade St. Anne's via WhatsApp says no. Gloria Gray says no. Wayne B., Covington, Georgia, says yes. What says you, caller?
Good morning, Steve Wendell, Richard, and Paul. My answer is yes, but I just want to convey quickly birthday greetings to my dear darling sister Glenda Butcher in New Jersey. Her birthday is tomorrow. From myself, my husband Frank, her aunts Sigrid and Simone, and her nephew and niece Skylar Ann and Isaac. May she have a very wonderful year. Happy birthday, Glenda. Your birthday
All right.
tomorrow.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Happy birthday, Glenda. Good morning, Grandy.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandy, no.
Thank you. Eve out in Sugargorna says no. Bobby, morning, Bob, says no. Who's this now? Ron, Captain Ron, says no. Did I do Carol Guevara saying yes? Mo Gaines says hell no. Ish out in Malik says no. Esther Adams says yes. All right, Captain Ron, where in the world are you today? All right. You have a less than a minute to vote, so do that quickly.
So do you think the
is
additional
in? Sankofa. What did Sankofa say? Okay, thanks, Sankofa. Julia S. Batiste says no. Jean-Claude says yes. Good morning.
Good morning. No, the problem in the TTPS is a management problem / leadership.
The problem in the where?
The problem is a management
So
problem.
yes or no?
No, the poll.
No.
We're not polling the TTPS, you know.
We're not polling TTPS.
I don't think he understood the poll. Because he answered a poll.
All right. One more caller, I'm going to news. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Can the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force engage in crime fighting outside of a state of emergency? I'm just asking. I don't know. I thought that they couldn't. They had to have a state of emergency for the defense force to be on the street fighting crime. So
which is why I was telling Paul he worded the poll wrong, because this is not the TTDF fighting crime fighting. They are managing the infrastructural work, whatever work is to take place in the areas. That's what I think it is.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sexy San Fernando says no. All right. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. Avril St. Hilbab is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Government says no to a call for a state of emergency. The Commissioner of Police addresses public concerns following recent homicides. The 2 fire officers injured while on duty on Thursday continue to receive medical care at Port of Spain General Hospital, and Trinidad and Tobago receives confirmations of its first COVID-19 belonging to the JN1 subvariant category. Details in a moment. This is News to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sindhil-Bab. Good morning. Government will not introduce a state of emergency as a response to crime in the country at this time. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says such a move could set back economic recovery made coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. He expressed confidence in the security services in terms of ensuring law and order. Dr. Rowley said the aim is to get to the root cause of crime. The remarks were made at the weekly post-cabinet news briefing on Thursday.
The government has been looking at all options all along the way, and we do not believe that a state of emergency is something that is our best option at this time, because there are a number of downsides to it, not the least of which we would want to do nothing to disrupt the economic recovery that we have been working towards and hoping to experience more going forward.
Recent comments made by retired Senior Superintendent Johnny Abraham towards the leadership of the police service also attracted a strong response from the Prime Minister.
When the Commissioner, Earl Christopher, finds herself being ridiculed on a political platform by Johnny Abraham, it rots my gut. Because I want to tell Mr. Abraham, he is not the only person who knows about crime and criminality in this country. And if I were him, I will shut my mouth. And I say no more for the moment, but I'll wait to say some more. It's people like that who have us where we are today. So don't complain for me. And you so talk to about the politicians who have us where we are today. I'm coming and telling you about when you are part of the blasted problem.
An assessment of the state of emergency, which was introduced in some parishes in Jamaica, also gained the attention of the Prime Minister.
Pretty much experiencing the same thing that we are experiencing. Inordinately high level of violent crime, where the numbers early in the new year is almost like it was last year. Because what has been put on the criminals have not deterred them to the effect that we have yet seen any significant deterrence. But you have to bear in mind that this does not mean a uselessness of the security services, because had they not been doing what they have been doing and getting some measure of success, this situation would have been far worse.
The full circumstances surrounding the death of PC Harry Narain are being investigated, and a clear motive is still unknown. However, based on the information available to TTPS at this time, there is nothing to indicate this incident is linked to PC Harry Narain's role as a police officer. Officers of the Homicide Bureau are continuing to actively investigate this incident. PC Harry Narain, who was last attached to the traffic branch, was fatally shot while standing next to his vehicle, which was parked along Bassey Street, Spring Village, Valsayn, in the company of an unidentified female at approximately 9:15 p.m. on Wednesday. Preliminary information indicates 3 armed assailants approached the vehicle and opened fire. PC Harry Narain returned fire, however, he sustained fatal injuries. Meanwhile, the police service says it is addressing the high rate of homicides experienced so far in the month of January 2024. It has implemented stringent measures to bring an immediate end to this escalation of violent crime. Analysis shows most of the murders committed have been either gang or drug related. As a result, gang leaders and their members have been actively targeted by the TTPS, and it will continue to do so until it achieves an end to these senseless killings, it says. Today, the report into the Paria diving tragedy will be laid in Parliament. This was revealed by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. The Prime Minister said the Energy Minister will lay the report.
Tomorrow we go to the Parliament, and on that day, the Lynch report on Paria would be laid in the Parliament tomorrow by the Minister of Energy.
Last year, February, 4 divers died while inside a Paria Fuel Trading Company pipeline at berth number 6 in the Pointe-a-Pierre Harbor. One diver, Christopher Boodram, survived the ordeal. Jerome Lynch, King's Counsel, served as chairman of the Commission of Inquiry into the tragedy. Last year, a copy of the report was delivered to the president. Government has been asked to consider the recommendations of the report and implement accordingly to ensure such development does not happen again. 2 fire officers injured while on duty on Thursday continue to receive medical care at the Port of Spain General Hospital. They suffered injuries when a skylift reported a malfunction with a boom, which resulted in the equipment losing stability whilst they were operating in the basket. At the time, the officers were responding to a fire at approximately 12:19 a.m. on Observatory Street, Belmont. After receiving initial medical care, it was revealed one officer suffered a fractured left leg, whilst the other experienced chest injuries. On Thursday, Trinidad and Tobago received confirmation of its first COVID-19 case belonging to the JN1 subvariant category from the Caribbean Public Health Agency. This subvariant is a descendant of the Omicron variant. At this time, the Ministry of Health notes there is no evidence to suggest the JN1 subvariant causes more severe illness. However, evidence suggests it may be more easily spread from person to person than its predecessor. Persons are being encouraged to weigh the risk to themselves, their families, and their communities, and to take the necessary precautions to safeguard lives. Members of the public are being encouraged to practice good hygiene with the aim of reducing the spread of viruses, including influenza and COVID-19. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. The Ministry of Health continues to monitor global trends for COVID-19 and other viruses of concern. It notes the global increase in COVID-19 within recent months. A similar trend was noted in the Caribbean region and locally as a result of increased movement of persons, which usually occurs during the Christmas and Carnival seasons, among other factors. Terence Deyalsingh, Minister of Health, recently announced an increase in hospitalizations and deaths related to COVID-19 in the country. For the period December 23rd, 2023 to January 15th, 2024, unfortunately, 5 deaths were recorded. As of January 18th, 2024, 6 deaths were recorded, 4 of which occurred in January 2024. Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, partly cloudy and breezy conditions are expected, with occasional showers occurring during the morning to early afternoon. Tonight will be fair and cool despite brief showers at times. Gusty winds may accompany showers. Look out for a forecast, a maximum temperature of 31 degrees Celsius, both at Piarco International Airport and Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, the temperature is 24 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 26 degrees Celsius at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. Government says no to a call for state of emergency. The Commissioner of Police addresses public concerns following recent homicides. The 2 fire officers injured while on duty on Thursday continue to receive medical care at Port of Spain General Hospital. And Trinidad and Tobago receives confirmation of its first COVID-19 case belonging to the JN1 subvariant category. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news at 12 noon and an update coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, thank you so much, Avril. Good to hear you. For our major news, could join her again comes 8 o'clock for our news brief. Let me just give you a quick cricket score update. The first test, Australia versus West Indies. Well, the game is over. The game is over on day 3. Australia won by 10 wickets. West Indies first innings 188. Australia 283. West Indies' second innings. They made 120, which meant that Australia just had 26 runs to win, which they did. So that's why they won by 10 wickets. All right. So that's the West Indies tour of Australia. Traffic-wise, we got some traffic heading towards O'Meara, Payako straight up towards Uwe, and then Valsain straight to Port of Spain. Eastern Metro is not that bad. A little stop and goes, but that's about it. Starting mainly from Tacarigua, heavy as they head through Macoya and Paget. Out of Marval, Diego Martin, heavy. There was an early accident by Aranguez, but that's cleared up. Let's head down south, make our way up north. Yep, that accident by Brian Lara Stadium, that's created quite a traffic pile-up in that vicinity. Of course, a lot of people are going through Point of Pearce in Margaret's Village towards Claxton Bay. That's a heavy spot. Rivulet Road is not too bad. Just getting into Couva, you've got some traffic. Heading northbound still, you're really going to pick up a little bit of volume by Chase Village, and in Charlieville towards the interchange. Chigonis Main Road is heavy. Slow going on the southern main road from Chigonis towards Ibis Gardens. Kelly Village is heavy as well. And leaving Grandy to the stretch, yeah, stop and goes, and then you'll move a little bit. All right, that's quick traffic update for you with a little bit of sport. Let me just welcome the guys back. Let's see if I have any more votes for them. I've got Michael saying yes. Captain Ron is still in Ethiopia. All righty, Captain Ron. It's what, after 2 o'clock there? Let's see. I've got good morning to Anthony Tinto, Guy Small. Adrian Kutu says no. Trini in Boston. Good morning to you in a cold Boston. Shannon Park, good morning. All right. Thank you for your comment. Watching us on YouTube. All right, so let's get the results. And I will.
Before we get into the results, was the cricket on TV? Ricardo is asking me. He's asking me.
Sportsmax.
Sportsmax.
It was on Sportsmax.
You have to have that channel, though. Eh? Most people don't have that channel.
Oh, it's a channel request.
Yeah, I just stumbled on it the other evening, and I said, "Whoa!" Because I was wondering. I knew it was going to start soon, but I didn't know when. So Ricardo, it was on Sportsmax. I'll find out when the next test.
Is it Sportsmax 410 or 411? Which one of them, Steve?
It depends on the provider. I really can't remember. It's not 4 for me.
Because it's Sportsmax is either 410 or 411 for me, and I don't have them. So I depended on a link that a friend, my godson sent. Ronnie sent a link to me, and I watched it from that link on my phone.
Really? You must save that link, eh?
Yeah, I have it in his chat, so I always have it.
Save that link. Start it there.
Yeah. But
okay, so the second test begins on Thursday, 25th. All right, so it's on Thursday, the second test. There's only 2 test matches we haven't. I'll get a full rundown over the 1 days and so on. All right, so let's get the results of our morning poll, and then I'll give Beverly Ramsey Moore, the head of Pan Trinbago, a call. What we got?
All right, well, we asked this morning, do you think the additional $100 million investment in the TTDF to help fight crime will make a difference? It was actually neck and neck until you just announced two results there. Okay. So it's 15 said yes and 14 said no. 15 people said yes, 14 said no. Yes, Samuel Paul, Willow carried it live too. But I catch it. I'm not very savvy with that Fire Stick, with that Amazon stick. So I downloaded Willow and I thought I was having too many problems. So I just gave it up.
So the second test starts on Thursday. Then there's 3 one-day internationals, which starts on Thursday, February 1st. The second is February 3rd. And when is the third one? It didn't tell me. Where's the third one? Okay, well, that's what we have for now so far.
Yeah. But the good news in that match is West Indies had a debutant called Shamar Joseph from Guyana, who got a 5-wicket haul. He made 36 also too in our low score, and then got a 5-wicket haul. He got a wicket actually with his very first ball in Test.
Yeah, he did.
The third one-day international is February 3rd. And then they go into the T20s, which is on Friday 9th. That's the first one. The second one is on Sunday 11th. The third T20 is on Tuesday 13th February. So that's the schedule. All right. All right. So let me get Beverly Ramsey Moore, president of Pan Trinbago, online. She was going to do video and that went out the door.
Okay. It would have been nice to get some calls on the poll first and then get into the interview, but because it was a very interesting meeting last evening and a lot of information. I know they're going to have a lot of responses to a lot of what was said. My phone is going to be busy whole day today, I would imagine. And Paul, and Richard, and Steve.
No, my phone is never busy.
Trust me. Paul phone, PNM Paul phone will be busy today. I don't know PNM Paul.
Could you retract that statement, please?
Huh?
Could you retract that statement, please?
Okay, sorry. Paul Richards, Senator, the Honorable Dr. Paul Richards' phone will be busy today.
No, it won't. Not more than usual.
He was temporarily going by a sobriquet, but we have withdrawn that sobriquet.
Please do.
All right. I have Beverly Ramsey Moore online, gentlemen. The president of Pan Trinbago. Good morning to you, Beverly Ramsey Moore. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I am fine today.
Lovely.
Yes, I'm a bit tired, but I am up.
Well, that's good. We have Paul. We have Richard. We have Wendell.
Good morning, Mrs. Ramsey.
Wendell. Happy New Year to you all.
Same to you. Good morning, Mrs. Ramsey.
Same to you, Mrs. Ramsey.
Well, I see this is your most busy period. I wouldn't say your period, your most busy time. And first of all, congratulations as to having secured BPTT as the sponsor for Pan 2024. I think, and I said it earlier this week, that a corporate entity like BPTT is not going to put their investment, social corporate responsible investment into any organization that they don't think is transparent, accountable, and being run well. So under your stewardship, I think Pan is doing very, very well. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It take a woman to do all that man can do for all them decades.
But it's very important. As a leader of Pan Trinbago, we had to work extremely hard to ensure that we rebranded and maintain the narrative on the organization. And in doing so, we had to ensure that there was transparency and accountability and that our books were up to date. So we are up to date up to 2023. And at least we are having clean audits where we know for sure that our members are extremely pleased. And we are very grateful that BPTT is on board in a big way, again, with Pan Trinbago. And we encourage all of corporate Trinidad and Tobago to support us. When you support us, you support over 300 steel bands in several communities in Trinidad and Tobago. And the Pan is in the heart of the people. And once you do that, you support our young people, our families, our communities. Pan is community soul, as we like to say in Pan Trinbago.
Yeah, that junior panorama they had on Sunday was phenomenal. Yeah. Those young,
I think a lot of this success can be attributable to the fact that I'm being mischievous here, so don't answer. To the fact that you don't have any interest in driving BMW X5s.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
People still drive them kind of old car.
Stop it, Paul. Stop it. I see that great.
But Ms. Ramsey, what in terms of the sponsorship from BPTT, who would have previously sponsored Panorama in that kind of manner?
BPTT was on board with Pan Trinbago several years ago. I don't know if it was under Patrick Arnold's time, but BPTT was a big sponsor. As you know, they are involved with Renegades for a number of years, and they were on board once, and a number of other sponsors, CSPT, and a number of other corporate bodies were involved with Pan Trinbago. But we would have seen during a period of 2010 to about 2019, they all just left. And it had to take a lot of work to rebuild and rebrand, to attract the sponsors again. And once you are accountable, once you have your audits up to date and the sponsors are seeing what you are doing, as now you see that there is a rejuvenation in Pan and in the very spirit of the instrument in Trinidad and Tobago. And I really want to commend my team and all those band leaders in the various communities, the regions, for coming on board and working extremely hard to make a contribution to national development, not just through the festival, but through the very work that we are doing in the Panyard. And over the last few months, we have seen a number of executive champions coming on board, like the president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and some of the very senators in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, commending the work that our leaders do in terms of using the Panyard as a model for social transformation. And I mean, we are extremely pleased that the nation is paying attention. And I can tell you that very soon, Paul, you may have to speak, because I think that bill is going to make its way into the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago very soon, so that we can have the instrument formally declared.
I can't wait.
Yes, it's coming.
So what I know, one of the issues that you hear raising its head regularly from time to time is the issue of compensation for the Pan players and so on. Is that still an issue, and how will BPTT's involvement improve that stipend that Pan players get during the year?
Well, wearing my hat as a band leader, because I'm the manager of a steel band, I think more can be done for our Pan players. One of the things I think, or one of the conversations that may happen going forward, is to have that stipend be given to the Pan players, especially those that are unemployed, and we have several of them that are unemployed, because that is the only work that they do for the rest of the year. You would not believe how many of our musicians are unemployed for about 6 or 7 months of the year, and within that period is the only time that they work. So they move from band to band to band to band to raise funds to take care of themselves and their families. So just as they do stipend for some of those youth development programs, I think for that period, instead of just giving them the $500 as they are receiving now, for that period in particular, for those that are unemployed, if that stipend can be given to them from October to March, that will be fantastic. So we keep our young people safe, keep them off the streets, and then prepare them for investment, whether it's to get into small business. So we do more in the Panyard. Those that are unemployed, they can come in during the day. We have leadership development skills and life skills, and then we give them the stipend just as in YTEP and in MOS program and all those other programs. I think that is definitely a way to go in the future, because that's $500 that they are receiving. I mean, they receive the least when you know, I look at it. And I'm going to say it. I'm not going to put words in my mouth. Those who can afford it, they are given free tickets to come to our events. They are in the VIP boxes. They enjoy all the food and the drinks. You out there, and when you put, if you have to cost for that, I mean, I say it because I feel it down deep in my belly right now. If you are to put $850 for a ticket in the VIP, right? Then the VVIPs, if we were to sell those tickets, we will sell them for $1,500, right? In those big boxes. And those big boxes, people come in and then they have all the premium drinks and the food and they have a nice time and they do pay a cent. And here it is, you have these young people who ain't working nowhere, majority of them, playing their hearts out. If your band didn't make it to the finals, then you just get $500. And you're in the Panyard from October until March or February. I mean, it's hard. So
Yes.
I think we have to take the discussion up another level. How do we treat the social issues? Our youths in Pan who are unemployed, we need to do more for them to ensure that they live a better life in this country.
Yeah, you couldn't have put that better. Here what I want you to do for me, though, right? This is me asking a favor, right? Because every now and then you see it on social media where people highlight one of these young people. The latest was a young man beating congas, drums. But so what I want to see more of, and maybe it could be an effort from Pan Trinbago itself through its communications unit, is to go and highlight a lot of these young people, especially from these depressed areas, who invest their life and their time in the Panyard and bringing this sweet music to us in this safe environment that we continue to enjoy. Highlight some of their life challenges so that people will be aware and it could inspire other young people to get involved in the life of a pan player. That's what I would like to see.
Of course, I'm going to take up that challenge for our marketing department.
I think the conversation needs to be widened regarding employment for panists because they are musicians. They may not be able to, in some instances, read, and in many instances, read and write music. But I think the issue of the legitimization of pan and pan musicians, panists, needs to be part of the debate on making the pan the national instrument for several different reasons. That same reason you brought up digital employment. When you think about it, and there's an example I'll give of a young man I know who started in the Panyard one of the Panyards in Port of Spain, playing in primary school because his mother's a panist. And his mother I know very well. And he picked up the pan, went into secondary school playing pan, did his degree in music, his thesis was pan, and played in UWI's steel orchestra, and is now teaching pan in schools in one of the islands of the Caribbean and helping them to form steel band ensembles in that island. And I think until we get to the point where we understand that our musicians need to be given the tools, like some of the bigger bands, like Renegades, like Desperados, who have the huge orchestras that they play in Panama with, but they also have traveling orchestras, and not one and two, as you would know, Mrs. Ramsey Moore. Several traveling orchestras that provide employment for these young people to go through the Caribbean and the world and play in Carnegie Hall and festivals and events, weddings, and all kinds of stuff. Then we won't be taking the pan where we should in terms of it being legitimized more as full-time employment.
And I think we have to do much more of that. One of the things that I'm pleased about is the support we are receiving from government. And as I mentioned before, corporate Trinidad and Tobago, although we need more of them to come on board. Pan Trinbago just needed to have that vision where it's not just about the music, but showing how we can use the music to play a bigger role in human capital development. And in doing that, we look at some of our large bands. Our large bands, they have a structure, and more so because most of the large bands are sponsored, if you check it out. So they're able to handle that well in terms of going abroad, in terms of having a youth band, in terms of the whole works in that Panyard scenario. The other bands are struggling a bit, from the medium and the small and the single band, because they don't have that corporate backing. And because of that, now we would really like to see government coming on board, taking us much more seriously. And I can tell you that there's been an increase in that. And it's amazing to see how some of our government ministers are out there supporting the bands in the Panyards. When we go there, they are all involved, recognizing the power of that circle, as we call it, that circle of love. And as long as we are all on board to understand how we can definitely benefit from investing much more in these steel orchestras in the various communities, I think it is going to augur well for us. So those are to all those bands that have their plan well set in terms of their development program, in terms of their revenue streams, the diversification of their revenue streams. We have to all those bands that have that down pat. But we have to work on those very bands. For example, like tonight, we are going to Point Fortin. We have been to Kush. We have been through those country places where I couldn't believe existed in Trinidad and Tobago. Long drives, but we are going there to ensure that we have them involved, in particular the young people and their families.
Are there any differences in the approaches to Pan semis and finals coming up that we can expect?
Well, you know, Pan semis, and let me tell you, because the North Stand is back. The North Stand is back. We had it last year, and we saw an increase. I can tell you, last year we had a bumper season, raising over $5 million in revenue from those Pan shows. I can tell you, it's going to be much more this year. Corporate Trinidad is just buying up those tickets. They are just very soon. I may have to announce that the North Stand is sold out. So we are going to have that Savannah party. The Greens is back. So we're going to have the Greens, we're going to have Savannah party, and then the grandstand where the bands will be executing beautiful music. And listen, I am as pleased as punch as president. You know, sometimes you have to blow your own trumpet. I think that I would have brought a certain magic working with my young people, and I am so grateful for the support that we are receiving. So, hey, if you guys didn't get a ticket yet, link me up now. Call me.
Paul is in charge of that. Paul or Steve will be in charge of getting out.
Well, I have to call you when we come off anyway to talk something else. But I mean, congratulations. I'm not surprised because I mean, I think you've put in the work. You and your executive team have put in the work. I think one of the biggest issues that was facing Pan Trinbago is an issue of brand and reputational issues, and the issue of transparency and accountability, particularly in the financial realm. And I think because of the work that you and your team have done, I think corporate Trinidad and Tobago feels that there is now a level of fidelity to best practice in terms of governance. And that's why entities like BPTT and others are investing, because they feel it is going in the right direction.
How do you deal with your critics though, Mrs. Ramsey? Because you know you have critics, right? How do you deal with them in terms of issues and so on?
I can't really focus on the critics. I always answer with my work. That's how I deal with it. I answer with my work, because the moment you start to focus on the criticisms, and I mean, if they are constructive, I have no problems with that. Constructive criticisms will always help you to do deeper introspection. But then I can't focus too heavily on the negatives.
Well, then, with that said, what are the major issues still facing the Pan movement in Trinidad and Tobago and Pan Trinbago? What would you say are the main issues?
What's that? Can you repeat?
What would you say are the main challenges still facing Pan Trinbago and, by extension, the Steel Pan movement?
Right. So I think one of the main challenges, one of the main challenges that we face at this time is getting our band in particular, all right, the Panyards up to scratch. We have been talking to our line minister, and I must give him kudos. we believe that the greater investment should come from our bands, from our government, and from corporate Trinidad and Tobago to upgrade our panyards just as we are doing in community centers. And we have been talking with our line minister, Randall Mitchell, to have government sort of focus. Listen, you put in community centers out there, billion, how much, 15 million and all of that. But people spend more time in panyards than in these other facilities. And yet, those community bands, forget the large ones. So we only have about 17 large ones. Out of the 350 registered bands, we have 17 large, and they are basically. But on the band, you go to one of those facilities, we need to upgrade the bathrooms, we need to upgrade these facilities with their community. And more people from the community will always visit a panyard than they will visit a community center, and they spend long hours. So in terms of the infrastructural upgrade, we really want to focus on that going forward. Our line minister has indicated that we are going to have some of those panyards upgraded in 2024, and I look forward to that new change. That, if you notice, Pan Trinbago is now in corporate space. For the first time in the history of the organization, we have moved into a corporate space. So if you walk into our office, there is Pan Trinbago, yes, Pan Trinbago. And so, you have to look good, you have to feel good. And if we have so many young people going in a space, then we need to upgrade these places and make them world class. Just as how we are focusing now to build our international headquarters for PAN, and that is a new thing that you all will hear about. Listen, so much is happening in the back. That is going to come to the front very soon. We are extremely proud of the work that we are doing. And I think,
what are your thoughts on the progress being made on the issue of PAN formally introduced and mainstream in the schools?
Of course, we support that. And working with the Ministry of Education, we have that great relationship. And we support PAN as being the main instrument in all the schools in Trinidad and Tobago. So that is being worked on, I think.
Is there still pushback in any quarters?
Well, I'm not totally satisfied with what I am seeing as president. I know that there was a hold on the program until Minister said she had to take an in-depth look and a restructuring. It is coming back on stream slowly, but I think we need much more temperature happening in the Ministry of Education with respect to that multicultural unit and the execution of that program in schools. Because we see the results coming out of Junior Panorama, where we have the primary category and the secondary category. When you PAN is intergenerational, so when you have the children coming, you have the entire family. That is why we have to share the space in the grandstand. When the primary school is finished, we have to move that crowd out to bring in the secondary school crowd. And when the secondary finish, we have to move them out to bring in the crowd for the junior bands. Fire is having a hard time controlling. Last year, where the grandstand can hold about 4,000, 5,000 people. Last year, 15,000 persons, and fire had to clear, and they had to clear again this year. We are hoping that we can get the North Stand for 2025 up in time to treat with that. So we see the effects of the PAN school program, and we are hoping that much more schools can get involved when the ministry ramp up its program. But there was a pushback on it in a month, but I think they have restarted.
Mrs. Ramsey Moore, you touched on the issue of the Pan Trinbago headquarters. Is it going to be relocated to a new space other than that space that has been, I know it was identified previously years ago. I think it was under Patrick Manning, I think, which is by Trin City there. So that's no longer going to be where the headquarters is going to be, is it?
No. I think that was Basil Pandey who gave that land.
Basil Pandey, okay.
So that's right, who gave that land to Pan Trinbago over the years. And we believe, and at one time I heard Prime Minister Keith Rowley, who is a steel pan lover. He's a Invaders supporter. He's always there in the pan there. He's a big supporter of the steel pan community. And at one time, when Invaders were celebrating, I think it was their 50th anniversary or somewhere there, he would have indicated that the headquarters, the international headquarters for pan should be in the city of Port of Spain, and I agree. Whilst we use the Twin City site, if we are to use the Twin City site for industrial development, then on the waterfront, why not? Why not on the waterfront right there? So we have identified an area, working closely with our line minister, Senator the Honorable Wendell Mitchell, and very soon we are going to unveil the plans for that whole development. It is in train, and I believe that that dream is going to become a reality for the steel pan movement, the steel pan community, and Trinidad and Tobago will be extremely proud. I don't want to tell all at this time, but there is going to be a revelation very soon.
Okay, I think I may have missed that. Where's the proposed new location?
Somewhere on the waterfront.
On the waterfront, okay.
Beverly busted news now, man. Come stop teasing now.
Come on.
Oh God, it will be revealed somewhere on the waterfront right there. When you want to know your value, you look at your neighbors, and we are close to our neighbors.
Who is your neighbor?
The Hyatt.
Is there anything you want to share with us? What we can expect for the rest of the this carnival season and beyond for Pan Trinbago?
So we are having a bumper season. We have declared in Pan Trinbago that there is no season for pan. And if you to look over the last few years, you will recognize that pan is pan throughout the year, because we recognize the importance of keeping our young people and our communities in the pan yard. And so we started since November with the single pan category that was completed, and prices have already been paid out to single pan. So we have closed that chapter. We held the finals for the single pan bands in Skinner Park last week, and they are going to be paid their prize money next week. We are into the medium category now. We close off the medium category preliminary judging tonight with Hatters from San Fernando. Then we go to Labre for Nightingales, and then to Point 14 for Hatters, and that closes the medium category. The results for that will be on Monday. Then we start the large band. We're going to wear the Ezra with Redemption Songsetters in Tobago and NLCB Buccaneers on Saturday night. And then we do the North Band Crawl on Sunday, which is another massive crawl, taking in all those bands in the north, all those big bands, the Renegades, Desperados, All Stars, Phase 2, Starlift, Silver Stars, all those big bands. I hope I didn't leave out any.
You mean the big All Stars band and then the others? That's what you mean, right?
You seem to be biased there. So we do all those large bands in the north on Sunday night. Then we go to the east to take in Exodus and all those bands there, and then we go back to the south the following night. I think it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then we have the results and the draw on Wednesday, I think it is, because Savannah Party, that massive big fete, Steel Pan Fete, is on Sunday the 28th. And after that, we move into the medium band finals. That will be in Tobago again. And then we have the large band finals on Carnival Saturday. So we are so pleased with the work that we are doing and the work that the bands will be executing. The music this year, as you know, is beautiful, and we expect a bumper season 2024. Yeah.
I think it's just bands can still play whatever they want, even going back in time for their song of choice, right?
Yes, music is never too old. So,
but yeah, because some of them new tune and all that anyway, so you might as well go back and play some classics.
It have two great new tunes. That Ola Tunji and Mikel Teja tune. Those tunes are fun.
You really want to hear two tunes? You really want to hear two tunes for 10
they
hours?
have two great tunes to choose from.
Yeah, but oh God, you go hear the same song arranged 15 times.
Yeah, but and you know that is the beauty of it. To see how each arranger takes that tune and make it into their own. Just as you have festivals and you have a test piece, you know. So it's about. I mean, we have several bands playing those two songs. Yeah. We have
in any case, All Stars gonna win. So I mean, it's just a process we have to go through, right?
I think All Stars win the Olatunji. Yeah.
It's just we know we have to go through the process, but we know what the end result is going to be anyway. So it's really just a process.
Well, you know, Long Paul and I had something in common, and we have All Stars in common. You know, Long we had nothing in common.
That's the only thing we have in common. This is Ramsey Moore. Congratulations again, and thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, I have two questions coming through on WhatsApp here, Beverly, regarding the organization's elections.
The members took a decision, and I think we need to put that to rest. You want me to go and fight with the very members who took a decision to extend? I am not going to fight with them. They're the ones who are going to vote, and so the election will be held this year. It is due this year. In a couple of months, we'll be going to election, and it doesn't matter. There is still whoever, those persons who are antsy and making couture, they will still get the tape.
Again, that's just a process. We know you're going back. That's just a process. But you have to go through the process of transparency and then you go back, right?
Of course. The election is due this year, and I can tell you, we will not even take it up to October. The Constitution says that between September and October 31st, and you get so just tell the that the election will be held in September of this year.
People must see iron some X5, the new model out there. That's why they want election.
So in September of this year, Pan Trinbago election is due, and it will be
questions, Steve.
No, those two questions just came through.
Thank you so much, Beverly Ramsey Moore. We wish you continued success and look forward to an excellent crescendo of Pan 2024 for Carnival and beyond.
Thank you so much, guys, and have a beautiful day.
All right. Thank you so much.
You can send me $1,500 VVIP pass by Steve, and I'll collect it.
He's begging for tickets.
Yeah, send it by me, man. Yeah, send it by me. Yeah, send it by me.
All right, Mr. Ramsey. Take care.
All the best to you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Good. Bye-bye.
That's Bev.
And Wendell?
Huh?
All Stars
is the best.
And then if you can't understand the brilliance of that, go back to Woman on the Bass, and it's done. The argument done.
Can I play that?
Listen to Corita Banker. Listen.
But that's what I was doing just now.
Was that what that was?
And after, and
It
after
has
that,
so
Woman on the
many-
Bass, and it's done.
Yeah, them two alone, an unknown band. Just
Done.
listen to
It's
them.
done. The argument done. It's no argument. Absolutely.
That is the end of that.
Yeah.
That is the end of that.
Go back on YouTube and watch, and you realize that they really had no competition.
Mm.
You know, I think one of the closest that came to that outside is it Desperados that played Kitchener's Pan in A minor?
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. But after that, everybody is also run.
Yeah.
And then Boogsy Sharp, Woman is Boss, with the lady this come So that's about the top 5 there, you know?
Well, they had Salif Dudu Yemi. Natasha.
It's all right.
That was good. That was good.
But it wasn't, it was okay.
That's in one. I think that will make one of the top 5. Salif Dudu Yemi.
And nobody even played Taylor Swift yet, so Richard and not no favorite.
Richard Ogopan.
Flight of the Bumblebee.
222 talk.
Yeah, we'll take some of your calls now. 222-8255 North Americans, toll free 866-525-1099.
You know what we should have asked her? Because
Via
I think
WhatsApp as well.
it was such a brilliant exercise. That Pan Classic thing they used to do mid-year. Remember that Pan, when they used to dress up in the tux and thing?
Yeah,
Pan is beautiful.
Yeah, Pan is beautiful.
Pan is beautiful.
I think that was such a beautiful exercise when it used to happen.
Yeah.
All right, we have some calls, gentlemen. Let's go to it. Good morning.
Hey, morning, Wendell, Steve Khan, Paul Richard, and Ragoobarsingh.
Morning, pal.
Wendell.
Yes?
You said the police gave you a ticket. What ticket that was, right?
For breaking the lights.
Lord.
What?
They say I broke the traffic light.
I don't know. Which traffic light is right?
Right at the very edge of the bus route when you turn right. So it's on the bus. It's on the main road, actually. It's on the eastern main road, actually. By where that area you call it, Richard? Right by the retention pond, by the Mosquito Hotel.
Yeah. All right, well, so me, you know, if you break the light, you know you didn't break no light. Me,
I know I didn't break the light. I'm not even bothering you know thing. I've already checked my footage, and it shows that I didn't go through on red. I didn't go through on green. The green was already. Anyway, Mr. Patrick, don't even remind me of that trippiness now.
The police officer was get killed. Where did they shoot it? In Spring Village. Like, they put it in place or?
Mr. Patrick, some questions, huh?
Why reading the woman run out, he can jump in and stuff?
Yeah,
that
was
I find something strange.
That is what was reported. I know what I say.
I didn't see that.
When she can take place, how did they shoot she?
I didn't want him to shoot her.
That's not the first. That's not the first incident like that. You know, let's face it. An incident like that's not the first time. They may have known he was a police officer and he might have had a gun, and they may have come for the gun. You never, because they went with the gun.
Yeah, boy. The prison officer. I was reading about the prison officer who they say missing. The man leave his wallet, he leave his phone, he leave his watch, he leave everything. And leave home with a short pants and he run. That's strange, yeah?
Very.
He leave everything home, his wallet, his phone, his watch, everything, and he gone. Something wrong with that, boy. Something wrong with that. All right.
A lot wrong with a lot of things, trust me.
All righty. Thanks, Mr. Patrick. Good morning.
Chris Tusa is championing the cause of Desperados. Desperados tune are going on party tonight was the best thing was one of the best things I also heard on Pan.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, well, you wide awake.
Before I make you awake since you all started, before you make my quick comment, I just want to say I would like Paul and Richard to vote for me. I know we could vote the rest of the day. They know what to mark down. Because as Paul said, they know he knows the callers. He knows what the answers will be. So Paul and Richard, mark down my answer for me.
But I'm the one doing the
writing. Because I know you
Zina.
intimately.
Yes. I'm the one doing the writing, and I'm putting yes.
Yes, well, this is what I'm saying. That will obviously be so he really knows us. For me, and I'm sure Mrs. R, if she didn't
put
vote.
yes too for her.
Right. So I wanted to say congratulations to Pan Trinbago. They have come a long way, and I think with the injection of the revolution started with Mr. Arnold. Yeah, people always have to say praises to him. And if you are taking calls, I would have asked her if she's putting in a request to government. I think one of the great incentives will be paying the pan men some more money. You understand?
Yeah, we raised that with her. We raised that with her.
Very long and hard. When especially when this season comes around, I think they are not justly paid.
Since when you don't like them two words together?
What?
Repeat what you said.
Yes, I
Oh,
know.
good Lord.
Words long and hard, like Sparrow would say it, lily longer. But what I want us to do next
At the end of the reader, Tad going to read today.
Paul, don't distract me, please, right now. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. I want to keep with my big toenail working. I want to say we need to discuss the meeting of the PNM. We did not get chance to expound on that. And I have my say on that matter. Right? We didn't get a chance to, and we did it with the opposition. I want a chance on Monday. So please, bye-bye, gentlemen. Have a wonderful weekend. Paul, where the side door is.
Zena?
Yes?
Zena, scratch him with the big toenail this weekend so he could go and get the clips from the PNM meeting.
We done cut that last night already, so we're late.
All right. I said that already. All right, good.
All right, take care.
She fixed that already.
Good scratch.
All right.
Let me to go back now. She fixed that already.
All right. Thanks, Zena.
Thank you. A very good night to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago at home and abroad. If you are my MP, you will not be there making that noise. So don't come with that. Tonight is for good behavior and good behavior alone. And I don't want to be disturbed.
You hear that, Zena? Good behavior.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Just a little snippet.
That is the clip how they play.
That's the only one I have on my phone. Ouch.
From the time he did it, though, I say, oh, Lord, that one going to make news.
Yeah.
Wait.
Hold on.
When the Commissioner, Earl Christopher, finds herself being ridiculed on a political platform by Johnny Abraham, it rots my gut. Because I want to tell Mr. Abraham, he is not the only person who knows about crime and criminality in this country. And if I were him, I will shut my mouth.
See, you got a clip, Wendell.
There you go, Wendell.
Well, you ain't get the clip when he talk about the 100 million. To me, that's
you have a great weekend. Whatever you do, be safe. Spread joy and kindness. And do be careful on the nation's roads and enjoy yourselves. Don't overdrink and everything in moderation.
Richard, you trying to shut me up there?
Well, I don't know if it's a shut you up or ignoring you.
We're running out of time.
That clip with the $100 million. Anyway, folks, have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Be careful on the roads. Look out for the young ones. And remember to let go and let God.
Yes, have a great weekend. Whatever you do, I'm just reminding you, of course, that theater resumes on Ash Wednesday, which is also Valentine's Day. The Trinidad and Tobago Comedy Week. And we start with Nikki Crosby, Still Hot AF, the Carnival edition from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday back in our Bubble and Bad Behavior. Just for those 5 days, we'll be on. You can check RSRR Productions theater page for more information. And of course, tickets should be out soon, so I'll tell you when they're at outlets. Have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, I may not be here every day next week because I'm taking some days, but I may be on when you least expect it.
We're taking this away.
Have a great one.
Double palm of a special.
No, he's on the employees legal team.
Richard going and pick mango. They have a double palm right by me there. The one with by this starch mango tree.
Thanks for the
gentlemen. Have a good one. Monday morning.
Penthouse suite.
The one with the window always open. I don't use AC.